Welcome back to the pod. Today we're talking about a 27-year-old midfielder from Dublin called Aaron Molloy. Comes from a footballing family, his dad being the famous former Irish youth international, well-renowned player Trevor Molloy, who played for the Who's Who in the League of Ireland, also had spells in England, Scotland, Northern Ireland. Aaron himself was on the books at one of his dad's former clubs, Super Bows as they're known, and captain at youth level there in 2014-15 as a then 18-year-old. On the 1st of January 2016, as still only 18-year-old, he joined First Division, then First Division, so the second tier in Ireland for anyone outside of Ireland, outfit Drogheda United for his first foray into senior first team football, appearing 13 times, scoring twice as a then 19-year-old, so at the end of his spell there, so not a bad place to be starting off. You'd imagine from there he would have had under 21 call-ups and become a mainstay in the League of Ireland and then jumped overseas to somewhere in the UK, but he had other plans. He then could have stayed short at Drogheda and moved to US and college football mid-season in mid 2016 season in Ireland. Of course, the season runs year to year. So, he could have stayed short at Drogheda and he moved to the US to still play football at a high level, but also to gain an education, which is a very smart move for such a young man at that stage to be making good, smart decisions like that. Shows where his head's at. Clearly, he had plans to go to a third level degree first. Therefore, on the 1st of August 2016, he moved to Keiser University in the US, probably pronouncing that wrong, Keiser, playing 15 times, scoring 4 goals for a college soccer team called the Seahawks. Whilst there, he had his first of 3 loan spells at Reading United AC. I believe they had an assistant manager from Dublin as well. So he played they're in the 4th tier. So he played in the 4th tier of US football, and they're also an affiliate of Philadelphia Union. So again, smart move there. He could have, been highlighting himself with an MLS side. Again, all that draft stuff, we'll get into that. It's different than a normal league. So he appeared anyway for Reading 26 times, scoring 12 goals in total over the 3 loan spells at Reading. On the 1st of September 2017, he moved to famous university Penn State, and he appeared 50 times, scoring 4 goals for their college team during his 2-year stay there. Again, while he was there, he returned to Reading United AC for 2 loan spells, again in the US 4th tier. Whilst that's Penn State, he again, like in the youth setup at Bows, became team captain. In 2020, he joined MLS side Portland Timbers via the MLS draft first round. Whilst he didn't appear for the first team in the MLS, he did sign a contract for their reserve side, Portland Timbers 2. 15 times and scoring once was his schedule there. Timbers 2 were at the time in the 2nd tier of US football. Of course, 2020 was when COVID hit, so could have all turned out a lot different if that had never happened, but it did. That's life. So misfortune, but probably that's the only real setback he's had up until that point for the then 23-year-old in his career. As said, out of his control, really due to COVID. There was also, I believe, visa issues why delayed his start with the Timbers 2. Also, international spots on rosters for the Timbers first team in the MLS all played a part in robbing him of playing in the MLS. For the 21 season, he again moved due to not footballing reasons with his team, but circumstances outside his and anyone else's control. Timbers 2, due to a league rebrand in the US, meant Timbers 2 were no longer in their then existence. There was a separate league for reserve sides of the MLS, I believe. Therefore, in 2021, as a now 24-year-old, he joined. He could have come back to Ireland, obviously, but again, probably other places as well. But he wanted to prove himself. He's obviously set up a bit of a life for himself there in the US as well, and he was enjoying things. He joined forward Madison in the third tier of US football as a free agent, appearing 27 times with 4 goals. So at this stage, he's played in the second division, more or less, second tier in Ireland as a pro. He's gone to play college university for 2 different colleges in the US, Penn State being the higher level. Then he's played in the fourth division in the US on loan from Penn State and his previous college. And then he's signed for third division. So for him, he's probably seen it as a step down. But in all essence, he's moving up the levels. And so now he's in the third division in the US. So he only stayed there for the 21 season. He proved what he already knew. He was too good for that level, and he proved that to others. So he in the 22 season, he moved to second tier, joining Memphis 901 on a 2-year deal for a nominal fee he had in his contract at the time, which again was good business by him or his team. Shows his IQ. At Memphis, he stayed there for about the 22-23 season, turning out 66 times, scoring 10 goals. Again in demand, he joined fellow USL Championship, i.e. the second tier in the US side, Charleston Battery, on a 1-year deal with an option of another year extension should he wish. It couldn't have started any better for him, and he's played all the minutes in the game so far and scoring on his last game out in a 4-0 victory. I'll have to check. There was probably more matches since I did up my notes here, so there was probably another game since then. I imagine he's played the 90 minutes in that one too, if there has been. He's also captain his new side. Sorry, he's just signed for that side. So that's just, I think, in January he probably signed for them. So the season, of course, in the US has just started. The US is a route that has been used before, of course, but it's always a surprise to me that not more Irish players, especially young Irish players, use that route and are successful in that route, because it's common language. It's a route to a very high level in the MLS. It's a very decent league, very good league, I should say, not decent. And one you can go on from and move back to Europe at a higher level if it all works out well there. Of course, you can stay there. It's again, if you're doing well in the MLS, you'll be getting paid well, and you'll have a good life. And a lot of people mightn't even want to move if they're enjoying things over there. Perhaps why it doesn't work out is the distance. There is a big connection between the US and Ireland, of course, as well. A lot of people over there love us, but maybe the one drawback is the distance. There is a lot of flights, of course, and it's not that far, but, for the younger person, maybe you're going to be homesick, and it might put off people, or it might, when people get there, they miss their home, family, friends. So that's fair enough too, Clearly, he's enjoying his time in the US. He's in no rush to come back to League of Ireland or UK leagues either. And why should he? Life is treating him well there. He's in his prime. He's knocking on the door of the MLS now, which is the obvious next step. And I'm sure he's going to get there next season and put in a good season. He's already been there, of course, but forces out of his control got in the way that time in the shape of COVID and all the other issues we just mentioned there, international spots, and probably the visa issues wasn't the reason that worked out. International spots would have probably been the main reason, and COVID as well. But barring another worldwide COVID too, or whatever, some other mad thing that happens. He's on course to get there this time. He's in a much stronger position. He's much more mature. Not that he wasn't back then, but he's got a great head on his shoulders. He's much more skilled at his craft now, and he'll have other options, but it's clear he wants to prove himself. He's built a life there in the US, but he also wants to prove that was where he should have been back then and where he is going to be now. And I'd say that's a driving force. Not that he needs it. As I said, he's a seasoned, very professional pro. So, but there is that in him, which is natural, that he wants to prove his doubters wrong. MLS is a tricky and unique situation, league, different to anywhere else really in the world, where you prove your worth. In other leagues, you prove your worth on the field, and the rest really happens barring injury, transfers, and with your playing time and your performances. But in the US, there's so many other variables in play besides just those factors, just staying injury free and doing well on the field, that can get in your way, like draft spots. There's no promotion, of course, or relegation, so the team you're with can't go up or down. Up if you're doing well, like you could win the league and still not be in the top division, which is unfortunate. Obviously for Ireland, there's international roster slots. There's wage caps as well. And yeah, I'm sure there's more obstacles there too that I'm not aware of. But regarding international slots for foreign players, perhaps he's considered, well, probably not, but a domestic player at this stage, perhaps, but maybe via the green card as well. It's not an issue for a visa, whether or not he's still considered a foreign international slot. I don't know. Maybe he's got around that somehow. I'm sure he's got contacts there now that they've figured out that won't be an issue for him this time around when it comes next season. So yeah, he's in a perfect scenario. Take up another year contract at the end of the season if he wants, but he's probably going to want to push for the MLS now next year. So get this season, do well, stay injury free, and then push on to the MLS. That's probably going to be his priority. But again, as a backup plan, he has the option of another year. So, of course, there'll be other options elsewhere at home, which I'm sure have been there over the years, and abroad too, should he wish to pick them up. But again, I'd say he wants to prove the doubters wrong. The future looks bright. All he needs now is to focus on his football, putting in the performances, let the other stuff off the field that could affect him going to the MLS sort itself out. Just worry about the pitch stuff, which he will do, of course, and continue to do this, and then just pick his preferred option at the end of the season and the start of next year, end of this year, next year. If you liked the video, send us a subscribe, like, comment. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, we'll be watching.